All right. All right, so today we have a Dell Inspiron 5100. Customer brought it in, she got startled, and she spilled some coffee on it. So we're going to go through, we're going to see what kind of damage we have, and what needs to be done to get it fixed. So the customer had pulled the battery out, let it sit for a few days before she tried to turn it back on, and it did not come back on. Not surprising in this situation. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly take it apart, see what needs to be fixed. So we're going to start with the keyboard. Usually on these guys, the keyboard needs to be like it typically needs to be removed from the bottom, like screws that have to be removed. But in this situation, like we're going to just try and take the keyboard out and see what's going on. All right, no screws. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna slowly look. Yeah, you can see there's coffee everywhere. Little stains that you can see, and look, just like, yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at each of these connectors. We're gonna look very carefully. We're gonna look for any sort of shorting damage. That one looks fine. This one, there's a bunch of coffee on there. Bunch of coffee on there, but it looks fine. All right, so next step, let's go ahead and take this thing all the way apart. Because to get the keyboard off, you got to remove this the rest of the way. Or to get the palm rest off, we got to remove this the rest of the way. All right, so on the bottom of this guy, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 screws that need to come out. So let's go ahead and get those out. And then under the keyboard, there's going to be some screws as well. So we're going to need to pay attention. This laptop has a couple different sizes of screws. This is the screw for the corner here, which is where the hinge is. And then these are screws that were underneath the battery. What I like doing is I like putting the screws with if they're under something, I like putting the screws with it. So up above the camera there, just a little bit, I have the battery, and you can see I just set the screws right there. Yeah, I feel okay, Emily. All right, so let's get these out. See if we have different sizes. Nope, those look to be the same.
Hey, thanks for checking out this video. If you like these videos, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. It really, really helps the channel.
All right, so underneath the CD-ROM tray, there is another screw, which I'm going to need a different screwdriver to remove. I'm going to go ahead and put that with that. Yeah, this thing, regardless of whether or not we end up replacing the motherboard, or if we end up replacing the whole computer, we're going to need to get this thing cleaned out for a variety of reasons. And there's something shaking around in there. So there's some plastic breaking off in there, which is probably going to signify that some of these hinges are actually broken. All right, so then underneath the keyboard, we're going to have an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that need to be removed. And as usual, I'm just going to keep them. We're going to keep them with the keyboard. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we'll set these screws off to the right here. And then we will, yeah, there's just plastic just coming out of this thing now. So to get these open, they're actually pretty simple and straightforward. I guess I'll show you. You get once you have the CD-ROM tray out, which is actually 2 more screws I need to take out because that's not going to come apart otherwise. You can get your hand inside where the CD-ROM tray is and then just lift, and it'll start to separate. And then you just work your way around And there you go. Oh, that's interesting. This is one of the, like, I am willing to bet the reason that this is not supposed to come off. This is supposed to be physically attached to this. So I'm willing to bet the reason that this has come off is because the coffee has saturated and destroyed the adhesion that this had. That's supposed to be like that. So yeah, and this stuff's just held together with some glue and some plastic standoffs. So yeah, that's supposed to be like that permanently on there. Well, I can see now just looking at this thing, there's actually coffee on everything. So we're just going to take this thing all the way apart, and we're going to give everything a nice good clean. We're going to look for damaged components, which I'm seeing here, and we're going to see if just cleaning up the components will be enough to get them back up and running again. So remove the hard drive. The hard drive has 4 screws holding it in. Go ahead and disconnect that. This is an old SSD. This thing's hefty. It's in a metal case. I'm not seeing any. We're going to take this apart, but I'm not seeing any corrosion or anything on there. So remove that cable. Keep that cable with that. We're going to remove this daughter board, which is the USB and I believe the power button. No, this is just a USB. But as you can see, as I'm moving this around, this guy's not connected to anything anymore. So we're going to have to be very careful taking this apart. So let's get this daughter board off here. This is for USB and an SD card reader. Again, coffee on there. We're going to have to clean that up. There's going to be a lot of alcohol, brushing. It'd be awesome if I had an ultrasonic parts cleaner, but, you know, don't have one of those. Yeah, the hinges on both sides are breaking here. So we're going to remove the screws from these hinges if we can. So that way as I go to remove stuff, like, I don't break the laptop more. Problem is, like, there's a chance that once these come out, they're never going back in there. So those are out. Oh, it's going through the metal, so at least they can get a little bit of clamp adhesion there. This one isn't going through the metal, so it's just broken. But at least we can kind of get these back together because these are 100% not attached to anything anymore. Alright, so after we've removed this daughter board, we keep the screw with it, and we got those hinges removed. You don't necessarily have to do that. We are going to, let's pull the speakers. This was a full cup of coffee, quite clearly. Yeah, there's no adhesive holding these on. They are not coming off of here quite easily. That's that out of the way. Let's remove this CPU cooler. There's coffee on the CPU. There's like right here, there's also coffee. Man, oh man. Remove that plastic shield. And the Wi-Fi card. Alright, now go ahead and pull this memory. Check the memory. Everything looks good on the memory. No shorting on any of the teeth. Alright, this guy's got to come off of here. Alright, let's start pulling the screws here. One. Ooh, actually, let's remove the fan. Even though it's got cutouts on one side of the board, the other side of the board it doesn't. And we get it unplugged. I'm expecting a horror show on the other side, but we'll see. So our screws are 1, 2. Actually, is it just a 2 on this? Yeah, it looks like it may be just those 2. This is broken. And then as we go to flip it over, Whoo! As one Northridge Fix would say, we have a Hiroshima. There are quite a few burn marks on this board. We're going to see what we can salvage. But it might not be a whole lot. This might end up being like, just guess what? You're replacing your motherboard. So this is the power cable button. Yeah, let me set this motherboard off to the side, and before we dig into that, let's check this power button. Which was also duly saturated. There's just a little bit of, let's say, adhesive strip. Flip it over. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull it out of here. It just needs to be cleaned. I think it'll be fine. Other than that, there is a, like, you can see there's a little plastic, cover underneath here. That's kind of saved this a little bit, but with the quantity that was poured on here, maybe not. Let's also pull this out. This is probably going to be one of the first times where I put in a video, can we save this laptop, and it be a legitimate question of whether or not this laptop can actually be saved without having to completely replace a motherboard or something. Remember, that goes back in there. Metal plate out of here. All right, I'll be right back and we'll pick this up. There's a little bit on that plate. Set that off to the side. Pull this out. I'm a little bit worried about under there. That side looks fine. This side has a little bit of rust that we can probably get off of there and it'll still work. Let's pull out our microscope. Yeah, this is gonna need like some decent cleaning to keep that from rusting. Where did this screw just come from? Just have a random screw that just popped out of nowhere. And you wouldn't have been able to see where it came from. So I'll just set it over there. I'm sure it goes to something. Oh, you know what that looks like? That looks like a screw from inside the screen. Like one of the ones that holds the screen down. I don't know. Alright. Let's whip out our microscope. Okay. So, let's just go ahead and we're going to start with this top left of the board. We're just going to kind of document everything we got going on here. Alright, so up here, there's a little bit there. Not too bad. That looks bad. I have to see, you can see that like this is carbonization from electricity. This is the RAM socket. RAM socket looks fine. This is, again, you can see there's some carbonization that happened there. There was probably an arc from here to here. See what we can do there. That's looking fine. Like these, we'll have to check the continuity of this pin. No, it looks fine. Keep moving along, moving along. The LED looks fine. Look good, moving down. There's just a lot in this one area right here. Nothing too dramatic though. We just hope that it didn't kill the CPU. Power all looks fine. Definitely gonna find some shorts on this motherboard. Oh, well, this might just be dead here. Nope, that's glue. Okay. You can see a bunch of little corrosion over here. Nothing crazy. Start getting into, there is something here we're gonna have to take a look at. Some shorting there more than likely. Let's go ahead and flip the board. That whole connector, like, I just need to get in there and give it a good clean, check the continuity. LCD connector looks fine. The M2 connector actually looks fine, just has a little coffee spilled on it. Yeah. That looks like the worst of it. You can actually see right here this channel where just liquid coffee was running down it. Alright, let's get over to the bad side now. Start over here. This was the top of the motherboard we're looking at now. This is the part that's the... Is this or just the bottom? Yeah, this is the top. So this is the... Yeah, so this is the bottom. This is the side that has this that's easily accessible. And then this is the top that is not easily accessible. This is directly under the keyboard. So we're going to start there. Yeah, there's stuff all over it. It's very quickly you're going to see that this is in some actual rough shape. I am worried about this chip. And I think there used to be a component right there. We'll see. We're going to get this, like I said, all cleaned up. Like I said before, this would be a great job for an ultrasonic cleaner. But we don't have one. That component looks dead. There's more, a little bit more there. And then you can see it's a little bit more right over there. As far as the center part of this board, it's definitely had an arc there, where this is probably, we had an arc from here to there, because this is a ground plane. You can tell with the fact that there's just a blank pad there. Ground plane, positive plane, liquid connected the two. That might have been what set it all off in the first place. Alright. A little bit more there we got to clean up. Yeah, so with something like this, what you're kind of looking at here is, this is just carbon, where these pads are probably all ground. These ones are probably all positive, or all, they're either positive or ground, obviously. And then this is for a MOSFET, because this is a dump. These are probably the gate, and these are the grounds. So you definitely had all of your power going right through there. And we have a little bit more there. A little bit more there. This connector actually looks like it's a little bit melted, but that could just be... just damaged. It's interesting. Come on, open up. Okay. Feels crusty. Let's flip this thing around. And we have more over here. So hopefully, what we're going to do is we're going to clean this all up. And we're going to find where the power came in. Which the power adapter for this guy is Power button. Where is it? So this is our DCN. So what I'm hoping, this is a sacrificial fuse. Or at least it should be. There's always a sacrificial fuse in these circuits. So this actually might be a resistor now I'm looking at it. It might be on the other side of the board. But there's generally a sacrificial fuse that it's like, hey, I'm getting unlimited power. Let's not, oh, there it is. Let's stop electricity running through this. So, all right, so switch back to the other camera, and we're just gonna get this, a couple brushes, and we're just gonna go to town. Isopropyl alcohol. Let's go ahead and refill this. I have a feeling I'm about to use a whole bunch. So up here looks fine. Just gonna here, we're going to do one step before we do that. There we go. There we go. All right. Isopropyl alcohol. I'm just gonna hit everything and then see if this even moves the bar a little. For getting whatever's on here off. It doesn't look like it's going to. I might have to use like a little bit stiffer of a brush. This coffee is just, it's just on there. Come in with the toothbrush. It turned the paper towel quite brown, as you can see, for obvious reasons. Again, we're patting. You don't want to put the paper towel down and then just drag it. So we'll just give this a little bit to dry. All right, let's get this back under the microscope. We can see what other cleaning we're going to need to do. So let me grab some Q-tips and let's do some cleaning. Oh, I only got about half an hour, and then I actually have to leave on time today. It's wild, I know. I got to put down paper towel. I don't know why I keep doing that. All right, these are inconsequential components over here. Well, I mean, nothing is inconsequential, but this is just some simple stuff. Nothing, see anything too crazy here. Let's run this along that. Open that up, and I know there was a bunch in there. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Like, this might be a situation where the alcohol isn't going to reactivate this. Do something a little wild. Instantly gone. Now, here's what we're doing. I am using water, which means that before I can plug this thing in, I am going to need to thoroughly clean this board with alcohol, because alcohol is water. Now, there is a type of water that would be safe to use on this board, which would be distilled water. This is 99% IPA. So what I was saying is you could use distilled water on the board. Distilled water has been like the minerals in water that would cause the water to be conductive have, in theory, been removed from. Is it desalinated? It's either, I always get them mixed up. It's either desalinated water or I'm forgetting words in the middle of saying them. Distilled, excuse me. 2Ds. Distilled or desalinated. I do believe it's distilled water, because you can run a PC with distilled water. You know what? I'm going to go with desalinated water is non-conductive. I know it's one of them. It's one of the D's. So you'd be fine spilling that water on there. It's what makes up a lot of the chemicals in screen cleaners. Is actually... Does your screen cleaner over there, Angeline, say what's in it? Let's see if it says contains non-conductive water. Deionized water. There's another D. Neither of the two that I said. Deionized water. I know watching me clean a motherboard with a Q-tip isn't the most exciting, but we'll get on to some actual more exciting stuff here shortly. That looks much better. Let's flip this over. I'm just gonna kind of run this over everything that potentially had it. Grab a new one. Yeah, the whole thing is this whole board is like sticky for obvious reasons. The other like nice thing about using this water is it's really going to highlight if we actually have any real board damage anywhere. So something like this, if I can just get in here and it just all just goes away, then there isn't board damage, which is positive. There might still be component damage, which that is something we're going to look at taking care of. Yeah, this is looking like 1,000% better. Doesn't quite feel as sticky. This is going to be like as inexpensive as it would be to just replace this motherboard. Like I want to see what I can do to try and get this. It's going to be like a pet project to try and get this up and running again. This I'm going to dry immediately. I'm going to let the air take care of that one. So, while we're here, let's go ahead and get this turned off. So we're going to let this motherboard dry a little bit, and then we'll give it another once over. We'll try and find some shorts and see what we turn up. So I'm going to try to get rid of some of this other like visible like coffee stuff that's on it. There's 100% dead components on this. I know that. It's just going to be determining if any of this damage made its way through the actual circuit board. So let's set that off to the side. Let's start grabbing some other stuff to look at here. This guy. Same deal, just going to get off the surface schmutz. Underside. Yeah, this was way, way more coffee than she let me in on. I thought it was a small little cup of coffee. Like, no, Melva, this was not a small little cup of coffee. Very clearly. You can see this in the short time that this happened 2 days ago. Or 3 days ago. I can't remember when. She said it happened right before New Year's. So we're 4 days ago. This has already started, the sugar's already started to eat away at the aluminum. That's what you're seeing there. There's a chance we're probably going to have to replace the keyboard too. But that's a hell of a lot cheaper than replacing a whole motherboard. So here's to hoping, right? Look at our memory real quick and our Wi-Fi card. Cleaned up quite nicely. This little plastic piece. Okay, that's better. The memory, like I said, there's a little bit on here, which makes me worry about the socket. But we have 2 sockets, so make sure we get that nice and dry. And then lastly, this power button. Hey, oh, that's right, I need to look at the cables as well and the touchpad. Get any sugar off of there. And get it nice and dry. That's the power button. Touchpad. Where's my touchpad? There's my touchpad. Fortunately, this is not a openable unit. Fine. Just curious to see. That looks like it's mostly fine. Get this off of the cable though. And then flip it over, same thing. Yeah, you can see as I'm doing that how it's, wherever I'm doing this, it's leaving behind a brown spot. Yeah, that's much better. Much, much better. All right. I think that's where I'm going to leave this for today, and we'll pick this back up first thing in the morning. There's other, like, once I start diving into doing circuit checking, if you know anything about me, you know that I can't stop. I have no idea. So we'll call this for that for now, and we'll pick this back up in the morning. Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked that video, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And I stream daily on Twitch at twitch.tv/SpecVengeance. And yeah, if you want to learn more about my services, check out Bradenton PC Repair.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.